Hey everybody, Karen from Master Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. So we've got some things to cover. So Faye is our astrologer for Ask the Spirit Guides, and so I'm going to look at a little bit more of what it's looking like for the rest of June. Okay, and it's really, really helpful for us, I think, on an individual basis and also as a community to kind of keep some of these things in mind. And then I do have a spiritual message for you from the Lead Team Collective, which includes your spirit team and mine and all of ours. And I have a political message too, nothing that's too surprising. I don't think we're getting kind of used to the same sort of messages, but that's okay. I'm trusting that they're telling us what we need to know. They've been preparing us and they're continuing to prepare us. So we'll just take it as that, okay? And then I also have some oracle messages from them, from the guides. They once again want us to use Wisdom of Tula, which is amazing. This is the third time, I think. I might have gotten this a month ago from a member of our community. And actually, the artist is the member of our community, Diana. And so, Diana, the Lead Team Collective loves your deck because they continue to choose this. So, and I do too. It's amazing. So this is for the spiritual message today. And then they haven't pulled this one for a while. So this will be interesting because I only have 2 tarot decks out of my 64 oracle decks. So 2 of them are tarot. And so this is the deck Angel Tarot that they picked to talk about the political message today. So that'll be interesting. I always have links below that are affiliate links that we get if you want to support the channel in a way that doesn't cost you anything. You could buy these through the affiliate link in our description if you're interested. Okay. So let's look. First, I want to say real quick about one thing I became aware of, and I'm always aware of this, and I'm sure you are too. Sometimes I just need a reminder. And when I was watching on Sunday and Monday, mostly Sunday, when I was watching what left-leaning media were saying on YouTube, so it would be anybody, honestly, any of the left leanings that I watch. So I don't want to call anybody out in particular, but it was really like all of them. When I was watching their reporting of the parade, and then I also watched probably 30 minutes of the parade myself because I was curious. One, I was curious just to see how it really went. And 2, in terms of honoring the Army, I just wanted to see how they were going to do that. Okay. So actually my husband wanted to watch it, so we were watching it together. And when all of the left-leaning, and I would say I saw 4 folks who report on things that I usually watch, they all showed the same thing. An empty field where they were supposed to have music, and then the one squeaky tank that went by and it was silent. Well, if you were to only take their word for it, then that was one way to look at it. However, I understood it to be silent because they actually had a program. It was actually a program. So if you didn't watch it, there was an announcer explaining things as the troops were going by. And it was actually like a story. It was started with, I think it might have been started before Revolutionary War, but it went revolutionary. And so it took Civil War. So it went down, and so they were representing the different wars. Okay, at some point. Again, I didn't watch the whole thing, but so I'm sure the crowd was quiet because they were cheering at certain points. And so my point is, do you get my point? Probably. My point is I need to remember, and I'm just encouraging you to remember that just as the right is manipulating how you see things, how people who watch the right is seeing things, so is the left. So it's just a reminder, because they're only showing these quick clips that look interesting, and they all showed the exactly same thing. So it was kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't appreciate, that's fine. That's what they do, but they're not telling us the complete truth. So just please remember that when you're watching, okay? Or not, or watch it for, obviously for entertainment, like you do this, okay? Because I'm only representing, I often say, I mean, I am representing my opinion, I'm not, and I'm giving you my opinion about what I've seen, right? So obviously, even what I'm saying is not representing the full picture. So that's where the discernment needs to come in. But I think so much of our angst and our struggle that I know I've had, and I know probably a lot of people have, is based on what we hear, And the question is how much anxiety have we had based on something that we didn't know the full picture? And there's no time for the full picture because of the bombardment that Trump is doing, right? So there's no time for the full picture of anything because there's just so many things coming at us. So that's when you say, well, I'm only going to learn 2 things today and I'm going to find out the full picture of both. It's like it's setting boundaries for yourself in the self-care area, right? So I know, that if for those who have been around, I use ground news. And so so I use ground news because ground news. So anytime I hear something, in fact, I heard somebody say the other day, something about Minnesota, that in the manifesto, like Trump was like he knew or something, which actually the SG said that that's true. I didn't ask after I saw that. I asked before. Okay. So it was in a session we did the other day. And SGs mean spirit guides if you're new here. So welcome if you're new. So anyways, when I saw that on YouTube, I immediately went to ground news and I wanted to see is ground news reporting that. So I didn't find anything about that. So then I'm disregarding that information until I find something on ground news, basically. And the thing I like about ground news is that it gives you left, center, and right leaning articles. Then high factuality, low factuality, or however they say it. I don't even know how they say those ones. I just look for high factuality and center. And then they always give you a bias in an article, or for the story. So it's really helpful. So we did ask, and this was not why I was talking about this today, but anytime I bring up ground news, in our description, they're not sponsoring us or anything, but we are an affiliate just because we're using it, my sister and I and my nephews. So we're using it. And so we signed up to be an affiliate just in case I talked about it, and they'll actually give you 40% off, which is like, oh my gosh, So anyways, there's a description, in the description below, you can get 40% off if you're interested in it. You can get they have different, stacks basically that you can get. Okay, so let's look at June's report. A couple things more that I want to mention, and just a reminder, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, the QR code's right there, and it's in the description, the link's in the description, where you're going to get more information. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to get to a newsletter this week because my husband does have off, so I'm just doing sort of the minimum, which would be, the most important part is recording and talking to you guys. So I'm not sure I'm going to get to a newsletter this week, but if you signed up and you haven't been getting anything, then you might need to look for the You get right when you sign up, you get a second email that says, confirm your subscription. If you don't confirm, you won't get an email. Okay, so you have to confirm. So you could go in and subscribe again and see. You got to get that confirm email though. Okay. Okay, so June, and the reason I was talking about that is because I'm going to be putting more of these kind of things in the newsletter, things that I don't necessarily talk to you guys about on here. So, okay, June 2025 is a cosmic turning point. Okay. Now Faye says, I know we've been saying this for months, a cosmic turning point, but the divide between 3D and 5D is becoming impossible to ignore, which I completely agree with that. Even just my awareness of that without being told, that makes sense, right? Does that make sense to you? Are you starting to feel that the divide between the 3D, the drama, and the 5D, which is more love, peace, and harmony, is becoming impossible to ignore? And you'll feel it in your body, your relationships, your nervous system, and your intuition more in June. Okay, so I wonder, is anybody feeling that yet? Okay, from June 9th to the 25th. Okay, so today's the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we have 8 more days. Okay, the astrology activates the world axis, a powerful portal where personal shifts mirror shifts in the collective. So personal shifts are mirroring shifts in the collective. So that's really interesting. So just kind of keep an eye out for that. She says these energies are not subtle. They're asking you to choose. So they're asking you to choose which way you're going to go. You're going to go 3D or are you going to go 5D? Okay. So are you still operating from fear, control, manipulation? Are you reacting to that? Which is, or are you aligning with courage, connection, and compassion of the 5D? So even, it's funny because I read this before I started recording, and I knew I was going to talk about the left-leaning media, okay, and how they were giving information. But now that I see this, I am less tolerant, and I'm not angry about it. I'm just aware that left-leaning is not necessarily any better than right-leaning. They're just reporting different parts of the story. But whatever happened to reporting the entire story? Whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to that part of journalism? Maybe it never was there. And I know we have some journalists here, so I'm sure you guys will have opinions about that, because I am not a journalist, and maybe it's never been that way, but I always I don't know, I think what I learned about journalism initially was that it would represent both sides of the story, but maybe I'm wrong about that. So it's just interesting to me because I'm getting less tolerant for the manipulation in the 3D, and that is manipulation. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle they're on, that is manipulation as well. Okay. And obviously it gets clicks because that's what we click on. We click on the drama. We don't click on hearing both sides of the story. We click on the stuff that's like, blah, 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 the stuff that's, feels like conspiracy, basically. And so unfortunately, human nature, we're not clicking on the stuff necessarily that shows both sides. So the question is for you, and I think it would be amazing if you guys put this in the comments. Where are you operating? Be honest with yourself, be honest with the community, and it's okay. It's okay. If you're operating right now in fear, control, and manipulation of the 3D, say it. Say 3D, 5D, 3D, 5D. And you know what? We can alter too. It just depends on the day, doesn't it? And that's okay too. The great thing about this conversation is that we are being asked to choose, And so we can be more aware now. Okay. So maybe even if you're operating today from the 3D, maybe yesterday you were operating from the 5D, but if you are operating today from the 3D, maybe you can now, be conscious for the next 8 days, especially on maybe if you prefer, because you can still choose to operate from the 3D and stay in that environment. Or you can shift with me because I am not staying in the 3D. You can shift with me and the community members who want to shift to the 5D. Again, it doesn't mean I'm never going to be in the 3D, but every day I'm getting a little bit, it's changing, getting a little bit better for myself. Encourage connection and compassion, even on the other side, seeing less division. And that's the thing is the left-leaning folks are not, they're not trying to, they're still creating division, right? They're not trying to not create division. And my goal would be, I mean, we're still in this community exploring what's happening in the world, but hopefully more in a way of understanding than creating division, which is why I've done like Trump's soul contract, which wasn't like, oh, he's just an ass, No, it helped us understand so that we don't have to feel so divided, Okay, so a little bit more about the report. She says the 3 to 5D divide gets loud. Okay, so it's getting loud, and it's going to be loud until the 25th, I believe. Okay, the contrast will be intense this month, and that's by design. The old world is clinging to its systems of domination, while the new world is forming beneath our feet. And you can see it with the amazing protests. I know there were a few people who got killed, or at least one person I know of in Salt Lake City had gotten killed. So that's, or unalived, so big love to his family. He actually was on Project Runway, if you've ever watched that, Project Runway. He was an innocent bystander and got kind of caught in the middle of a little shootout. So the old world is clinging to its system of domination while the new world is forming beneath our feet. 3D energy feels like, fighting to be right, power over control, scarcity, fear, blame, spiritual disconnection. Okay, so just be honest with yourself. Where are you today? Because again, every other hour it can change depending on what you expose yourself to, what you're eating, how your nervous system is, So fighting to be right, power, who you're interacting with, power over control, scarcity, fear, blame, spiritual disconnection. 5D energy invites radical self-trust, surrender, and intuition. So relying on your intuition and trusting your intuition. If you're getting a yes, and you're trusting that, and you go towards the yeses, you're also trusting the no's that your intuition is telling you, and you're letting go of the no's. Even if your friend or your family member their yes is different than your yes, you're trusting yourself, radical self-trust. Okay. And it's okay that their yes is different than your no might be their yes. And if it is, that's okay. That doesn't mean they're right and you're wrong, but it's trusting that is not good for you. Does that make sense? So unity consciousness is 5D, and sacred presence and peace. If you're an empath or sensitive, you may feel this divide in your nervous system. I know I definitely have over the last couple months. The lower frequencies can feel like walking through mud or forgetting how to breathe. That's okay. Your body is adjusting to higher frequencies. So it's just a reminder that when we've all had those. I've seen many people say, why am I so tired right now? Or, and everybody's going through it at different times. And it's our bodies getting used to these higher frequencies, which is amazing. I'm just getting shivers just thinking about that. Name what you're feeling. Awareness sharpens intuition like a blade. Okay. Okay. So next time I'm back, I'll cover the rest of the report with you guys. Okay. So spiritual message for today. And this again is using the, let me grab the, this is a pendulum map or chart, whatever you want to call it. And so I use a pendulum. And my guides, and actually I asked the lead team collective, which includes your guides too. So I use that pendulum and they spell out messages for me. Okay. All right. So, and which, by the way, because people will ask, that pendulum map is from a member in our community, and it's in the small business directory, our community directory. Do you guys know we have one? I know for my diehards here, you know we have one. So I will post it right here. At least once a week, I want to just call awareness. If you're looking for a gift or a spiritual service or other services, not surfaces, from our community, then please take a look at it, okay? Because you're supporting the small businesses in our community, and the link is also in the description below, okay? So go ahead and visit if you're looking for a gift or something for yourself. That would be amazing. Okay, so the spiritual message today, it seems very specific. They like to use my name in some of these, and I had to ask this time, I'm like, what are you talking about? Okay, so here is the spiritual message they spelled out for me. Why are you getting upset about your Karen? So I'm like, okay, do you mean like me? And like, are people getting upset about me, like in the community? And that's not what it is. Okay. So why are you getting upset about your Karen? This is like the third or fourth time they've used my name. So I said, well, what does Karen refer to? What are you referring to? They actually spelled out lover. And I said, well, can I use the word partners? And they said, yes. So the question is, what are you getting upset about your partners? Okay. So there are some people who needed to hear this message. Again, this comes from the lead team collective. So this is the collective of all of our teams, our spirit teams. So why are you getting upset about your Karen? Okay. So they wanted to expand on the message using the wisdom of Tula. The laundry's done. Okay. So I know some of you have that same dryer because you heard the music playing before. Okay. Just a reminder that Diana, like till you see this artwork, she is the artist in our community. So pretty. Look at that. So all the characters except the animals, not faceless, but the woman is there. I love that kind of art. It's just so cool. Look at this. Isn't it beautiful? So Diana, unbelievable. And not only that, but the messaging in here. So someone that she did this with, Karen Stuth, the messaging in here is amazing too. Okay, so why are you getting upset, you guys? Why are you getting upset with your Karen? Why are you getting upset with your partners? It's a good question. Okay, let's see what other messages they have here. Why are you getting upset with your partners? Partner, your lover. They literally spelled out lover. I was like, really? Do I have to use the word lover? I don't know why. It's just like lover. Lover, come here, lover boy. Anyone know what that's from? You do, don't you? Come here, lover boy. And if he still doesn't answer. Okay, so my grandmother, quick side story. My grandmother, she was probably in her 60s when that was out, and I was, let's see, it was Dirty Dancing, the movie Dirty Dancing. I was probably in my early 20s. Maybe, no, I was in high school. I think I was in high school. Wasn't it out in like 85, 86, 87? Anyway, she watched it. She was immobile for that part of her life and in her 60s. And I mean, she could move around, but she sat a lot. She had bad knees and stuff. So Anyway, she watched that over and over and over again. It was like her favorite movie. Okay, so I actually have 3 cards here. I did not do the prayer, did I? But I've done it this morning. So usually I do it live with you guys, but I didn't do it. So we'll just know that I did it. I did it clearly before I did the messages for today. Okay, so you guys, I'm talking to the lead team collective, please. Hello, good morning. Did you want me to read all 3 messages? No. Did you want it to be a pick one? No? Okay. So did I pick the card you wanted? Yes. Okay. The one on the right? Yes. The one in the middle? No. And the one on the left? No. So you just want me to read the one on the right? Yes. Okay. All right. So the one in the middle was, oh, well, why not? Forgiveness. Okay. Why are you upset about your Karen? Forgiveness. So it's not a bad message. And freedom was the other one. Look at how adorable. Look at that artwork. Just adorbs. Freedom. Okay. So Diana, do you sell any of your original artwork? Okay, because I don't know if these are original, if you did these, painting or what was your medium? Okay, so here, this is the message. Oh, it's got a kitty cat. Okay, healing. Okay, so why are you upset with your partner? Your lover. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, Sex and the City, right? How did she do it? Lava. I can't remember now. It'll come back to me. Okay, healing. Beautiful black cat. Okay, so the guides are encouraging us to look at our relationships, which ones need some healing, okay? And you have and then decide where you want to go with that. All right, healing. All right. It's a rare event when Tula experiences an illness, but on these occasions she recognizes that both healing and wellness happen on more than a physical level. When Tula is ill, she knows she must come to a full stop to let her body rest and mend. Okay, so we're looking at relationships right now, okay? So why are you upset with your partner, okay? Sometimes, and I'm just intuiting this, okay, you decide how you want to read this, but sometimes you may need to come to a full stop with your relationship to let it rest and mend, okay? So just one way to look at it, okay? Often with the feline assistance of her good friend Pewter. Do you guys remember when Pewter showed up the first time? I was like, Pewter? Okay, Pewter's back. She nurtures herself with nutritious food and fluids. So nurturing the relationship, okay? Nurture yourself first, then you can take care of the relationship. The healing support of music. Oh, plenty of sleep, cuddly soft quilts. Love blankets, love soft blankets. The healing support of music, and even by watching her favorite movies or reading a cherished book. She gets out of her way to allow her body to apply its incredible and restorative powers of healing, regenerating her back into wellness. The same is true of our wellness on all levels, on other levels. Our physical well-being contributes and supports our emotional, mental, and even spiritual state, and vice versa. Our mind, body, and spirit work together and are inseparable. When our mind or spirit is not being tended or supported with mental or spiritual nourishment, the body can lapse into a state of dis-ease. When our emotions are more often toxic than not, every other aspect of our being, whether seen or unseen, is slowly eroding. So this definitely could be because there is a lot of stress right now, depending on how much self-care you're doing, okay? We know now, just reading the June report, that it's an intense time, isn't it? So if you're not tending to yourself, then you definitely, that may be why you're upset in your relationships, okay? Because it's very hard to keep the relationship going smoothly if you're not tending to your own self. And if you're, if you're, if you're lapsing into dis-ease because of what you're watching or how much you're exposed to things and all that kind of stuff. So if you choose this card, you are being asked to review how well you are nurturing all the different facets of you, including your relationships, okay? Are you providing your spirit with the gift of meditation? Are you giving your mind the mental stimulation it needs? Are you balancing the negative aspects of human life with an equal or greater amount of positive input? Are you restoring your inner balance by spending time in nature? Take a moment right now to consider how you are giving each part of you what it needs to stay well and healthy. Okay, so this is a great thing. Like, I'm going to definitely put this in my journal for the 30-day challenge. How's the 30-day challenge going for you? I did last newsletter, I did a poll, and I'll let you guys know what the results of the poll are as soon as I write the next newsletter, okay? So hopefully this is going well, but this is going to go in my journal for tomorrow, and I'm going to be asking myself these questions because I think obviously the guides want us to consider this, okay? So I'll even consider this question. You don't have to put Karen down, put your partner down, okay? Okay, amazing. So I'm going to put this in there and remember to add that to my journal for tomorrow. That's pretty much what I do. If I get a message, I'll put it in my journal for my 30-day, and then I'll journal on that tomorrow, which is nice. Okay, that's been really nice for me. Okay, here is the political message. Not going to surprise too many people. They have been saying this for about a few weeks now, okay? Remember timing? They gave me a timing on this one, which I'm not thrilled about, but, we're just going to go with the flow, all right? Here's the political message. Trump is leaving, okay? I said permanently, they said yes. I said unalived, they said no. Unalived, and they said July 2025, okay? I know this can be irritating. I know this can be irritating to feel like we continue to get these messages, but that is the way time is. And I continue to remind us, so, it's like, don't hang on to the July, don't hang on to that. Just I use it as encouragement. They're telling us that just to say, don't worry about it. It is going to happen, even though things are shifting, it's still happening. So let's just go back a little bit. I find this interesting because on May 26th, so I'm looking at my bullet journal where I log all of these messages. Okay, so I already logged today. So today's not the 15th. I got to change that date. 17th, spiritual and political. Okay, so why are you upset? Here it is. Why are you upset with your Karen? And I put partner, and then Trump is leaving permanently. So I just wrote the exact same thing down. So I've been doing that all along, okay? So on the 26th of May, they said Trump leaves at nighttime. Nighttime today, Trump leaves, okay? And the reason I wanted to read this one is because I thought the message that we got from the cards was really interesting about that. So nighttime today, Trump leaves. And then the next day he hadn't left. So then the political message was life got in the way, military stopped Trump. So I don't know what that means. But the card here was really interesting. We pulled a card called the Land Between. Okay, that was the card. It was called the Land Between. We are between worlds right now. We are between worlds right now. 1 foot in the old way of doing things. And 1 foot in the new way. Okay. We can't skip the messy parts. That was the message. Okay. So 1 foot in, did you just hear that? So as I'm reading this, did you hear me say this earlier when we first started chatting with each other? You did. It was in the astrology report. So this was on May 26th. 1 foot in the old way of doing things, 1 foot in the new way. We can't skip the messy parts. We can't skip the messy parts. That's where the growth is. That's where our spiritual growth is. Okay. How many of you are so much more spiritually, I was going to say advanced, but that's not it. How much of you have grown so far spiritually this year than you have for a long time? I want hands up. How many people? I know I have. That doesn't mean all of you have, but or maybe you've had years where you had way more spiritual growth. But so Faye put in the June report, the old world is clinging to its systems of domination, while the new world is forming beneath our feet. We got the same message on May 26th. That we have 1 foot in old world, 1 foot in the new. Okay. And this month right now, that was on May 26th. So the astrology is saying it's time to choose. We are getting closer and closer in choosing. Okay. So just keep that in mind. I just thought that was an interesting little connection between the two. Okay. Not to belabor this, let's do a quick read on to see what else they want us to know. I like this. This was actually my very first tarot. My very first deck ever of any. This is my very first deck I've ever had. And it's so much so that it has Doreen Virtue on it. I just covered up her name. So that's a long story. If you don't know about it, you could Google it. Doreen Virtue. She's not on the new decks. It's the same deck. Her name's off of it. So I didn't take it off. I asked my guides if the energy was bad. They said no. So okay, so you guys, what message do you have for us regarding Trump is leaving? Why are you telling us? Anything else you want to tell us about that? Yep, maybe. Okay, this is a big deck. It's very thick. It's a little harder to shuffle. There's like, I don't know, 86 cards, but yeah, this is my very first one. There's a book that comes, a big book that comes along. It's called the Big Book of Angel Tarot, I think. It is a big book. So yeah, it's kind of fun. It smells like it's been around for a while. I probably got this, I don't know, 10 years ago. I took an angel class from Doreen on angel card readings. So I think it was Doreen and Radley. Okay, so I've got 2 cards. Let's see if there's anything else they want to tell me. Okay, you guys. Did I pull the right card? Yes. Or do you want me to read both of these? No. Do you want me to read the one on top? Yes. What about the one on the bottom? No? Okay. All right. So the one on the bottom was King of Earth. Generous, professional, responsible, and practical. So that was the one that they're not having me read. Okay. Oh my gosh. Awesome. Okay, so remember this has to do with Trump leaving. Permanently, yes. Unalived, no. And it just happens to be Archangel Michael. Love it. It's a 3 card, which is amazing for this community because the number 3 is abound here. So the world, Archangel Michael. A job well done, joy, contentment, and gratitude, the path towards enlightenment. The path towards enlightenment, Trump leaving, the path towards enlightenment. That's perfect. I don't even think I need to, let's just see if there's anything else that might jump out at us here about that. So additional meanings for this card: perfection, a move to the next level, receiving an award, a new house or job, complete clarity. That's cool. So I'm hearing, a move to the next level, complete clarity, I love that, cosmic awareness, and recognition for the use of your talents, and freedom. Okay, we might be free of them once and for all, you guys. Yay! Anyways, what a great card. Thank you guys. Thanks to the Lead Team Collective for all the messages today. If you guys could thank the Lead Team Collective, that'd be amazing. Starting to do that more and more. Show your appreciation to them, and their partner with us and helping us just move through this scenario. They want to help us move through all of this just as calmly as we do. So I'm going to keep that card out so that I can put it in my journal. So, okay, you guys, have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.